Russia prepares for a bride show, unlike anything seen before. Hundreds of young women from noble families travel to the Kremlin, each hoping to be chosen as the next Tsar. The halls filled with nervous footsteps as families whisper strategies and expectations. Ivan IV wants a peaceful household and a stable future, so he orders his advisors to bring forward girls known for purity, modesty, and good health. Among all the noise and ambition, one name stands out quietly: Marfa Sobakina. She arrives without a powerful political background and without the usual arrogance that surrounds the court. Her calm nature catches attention, though some families feel threatened by her presence. In a place where beauty and status often decide fate, Marfa's simplicity becomes her strongest advantage. While the official selection process begins, factions inside the palace start forming invisible lines. Some families believe their daughters deserve the throne and begin spreading small rumors to weaken the competition. Ivan walks through the rows of candidates with a sharp eye, searching for sincerity. When he notices Marfa, something shifts. Her gentle behavior and composed face leave a strong impression, and within days, whispers spread that she might be the chosen one. The tension increases long before the announcement is made. The moment Ivan announces Marfa Sobakina as his future bride, the entire court reacts. Some celebrate, but many feel insulted. Families with long histories of power cannot accept that a girl from a modest background has taken the place their daughters hoped for. Advisors who supported other candidates suddenly become silent. Behind polite smiles, resentment grows. Marfa tries to remain humble and respectful, unaware of how violently some people oppose her selection. She steps into the inner chambers of the Kremlin and begins learning the duties of a sirf. Ivan treats her kindly, giving her gifts and offering protection. Yet even he senses the political pressure rising around them. Rumors spread that Marfa used charms or secret medicines to appear healthier and more attractive during the bride show, though no one can prove anything. This gossip is enough to spark suspicion. Rival families begin looking for ways to regain influence, and certain advisors warn Ivan that hidden plots may be unfolding. In the middle of all the talk and jealousy, Marfa prepares for her wedding with a quiet heart, unaware that her future is already in danger. The court, full of secrets, watches every step she takes. The atmosphere grows heavier as the wedding day approaches. Soon after the announcement, Marfa begins to feel weak. At first, everyone assumes it is stress, but her condition worsens quickly. She loses her appetite and struggles to sleep. Court physicians are confused, unable to explain why a healthy young woman is declining so fast. Servants report that she sometimes sits silently, holding her head as if she can feel her strength draining. Rumors explode across the palace. Some believe Marfa may have been poisoned by families angry about the bride show. Others whispered that she was given a strange potion by supporters, hoping to make her appear glowing and energetic during selection, only for it to damage her from the inside. No one agrees on the truth, but everyone agrees something is wrong. Ivan becomes worried and orders more treatments, but nothing helps. His frustration grows, and he begins questioning the loyalty of those around him. The Kremlin becomes a cage of fear where every whisper sounds like a threat. Despite her collapsing health, the wedding plans continue because canceling them would cause political chaos. Marfa tries to hide the pain, forcing herself to smile whenever Ivan visits. But each day, her face grows paler. The illness becomes the most dangerous mystery in the Russian court. The wedding day arrives, but the joy expected from such an event never appears. Marfa can barely stand on her feet as she prepares. Ladies-in-waiting help her walk, adjusting her dress every few steps so she doesn't faint. Outside, the court gathers with forced excitement, pretending nothing is wrong. The ceremony begins, and Marfa moves through the rituals like a ghost drifting through tradition. Ivan looks tense, aware of her weakness, but unable to stop the ceremony. Ending it now would signal instability and invite political attacks from every side. The crowd watches carefully, whispering behind their sleeves. Some believe Marfa is cursed. Others think this is a sign of bad luck for the Tsar himself. As the ceremony continues, Marfa's breathing grows shallow. She clutches her hands tightly to stay steady. When the vows are finally completed, relief washes over the room, but only for a moment. The minute the couple leaves the hall, Marfa collapses in private. The celebrations outside continue with music and food, but inside the palace, fear takes control. The royal physicians rush to her chambers, and urgent messages spread through the corridors. What should have been the happiest day of her life becomes a quiet crisis hidden behind thick palace walls. When the wedding night begins, The royal rooms are supposed to represent blessing and unity. Instead, the atmosphere feels heavy. Ivan stays close to Marfa, worried by her fading strength. She struggles to speak, and her body trembles with exhaustion. The chambermaids watch from a distance, unsure how to help. In a moment that should symbolize the start of a long life together, the silence becomes unbearable. Ivan cannot ignore the signs anymore. He is convinced someone tried to harm her. His mind races through the rival families, jealous advisors, and enemies inside the Kremlin. The paranoia that will later define his rule starts forming in these hours. Outside the chamber, guards whisper among themselves, sensing danger around the Tsarina. Some claim to hear Ivan shouting at his advisors, demanding answers. Marfa lies weak, breathing unevenly as her condition worsens. The palace tries to contain the news, but a story this strange cannot stay hidden. Servants pass secret messages through corridors, and by morning the entire court knows the wedding night has gone wrong. The hope that Marfa might recover begins to fade. Instead of building trust and unity, the wedding night becomes the moment Ivan feels the ground slip from beneath his feet. Marfa's decline becomes impossible to hide as the days pass. She loses weight rapidly and struggles to stay awake. Ivan orders new treatments every morning, but none bring improvement. The court grows tense as rumors of poison spread faster than the truth. Advisors argue daily, pointing fingers at rival families. Ivan begins interrogating nobles he never trusted. Some are arrested, others disappear. The atmosphere in Moscow changes as fear settles in like a winter fog. Meanwhile, Marfa spends her final days in a quiet room surrounded by candles and attendants. She speaks softly, if at all. Those who serve her say she never complains, even while suffering. Her gentle nature stays with her until the end. As the days count down, Ivan visits her regularly, watching her fade before his eyes. It becomes clear that she will not recover. Her death arrives quietly, without warning, after only 15 days of marriage. The court freezes as the news spreads. A young bride, chosen with so much hope, becomes a symbol of tragedy. Her story shakes Russia, and the blame spreads everywhere. The mystery remains unresolved, fueling anger, fear, and suspicion that will shape the Tsar's next decisions. Marfa's death breaks something inside Ivan. He cannot accept that the Tsarina died without a clear reason, so he searches for someone to punish. The investigations intensify. Families who opposed Marfa's selection become prime targets. Advisors who previously held influence lose their positions overnight. Ivan's distrust grows so extreme that he begins isolating himself from many members of the court. This period marks the beginning of the harsher personality. History remembers. The sorrow of losing Marfa becomes a turning point that pushes him further into suspicion and cruelty. Executions rise. Repressions increase. Even those loyal to the Tsar fear that a single rumor can end their lives. Meanwhile, the people of Moscow whisper about the tragedy, wondering what truly ended Marfa's life. Some say she was poisoned for political gain. Others believe she suffered from a natural illness worsened by stress. There are also those who think someone used charms or potions during the bride show. The truth remains hidden in the shadows of the Kremlin. Marfa Sobakina is remembered as a victim of politics she never participated in. Her 15 days as Tsarina become one of the most haunting chapters in Russian royal history, shaping the future of an entire empire. Marfa Sobakina entered the Kremlin with a quiet heart and dreams of a peaceful life, but the world around her was far more dangerous than she ever imagined. Her story ends in silence, yet the impact of her death echoes across Russian history. A young woman chosen for her purity and calm nature becomes a symbol of how fragile a life can be when caught between power, jealousy, and fear. Her 15 days as Tsarina reveal a court filled with hidden enemies, political ambition, and unanswered questions. Ivan's grief turns into suspicion, and that suspicion shapes the darker path he follows afterward. Marfa leaves behind no children, no legacy of influence, and no chance to live the life she deserved. What remains is a mystery that historians still debate. Was she poisoned, weakened by illness, or destroyed by the pressure of palace life? No answer can undo what happened, but her story reminds us how dangerous ambition becomes when it surrounds someone unprepared for it. A wedding meant to unite a kingdom instead created one of the most haunting tragedies of the Russian throne. Marfa's life was brief, but her fate continues to demand attention, reflection, and a sense of sorrow for a bride who never had a chance.